Sheng Shao You had never felt so conflicted in his entire life. The truth of his pregnancy still weighed heavily on him, and the realization that Hua Yong was not an alpha or omega had thrown his entire understanding of the world into chaos. And yet, despite all the fear, confusion, and disbelief, there was one undeniable fact he could not escape. Hua Yong was his. Every heartbeat, every touch, every commanding glance made that clear. Even when Sheng wanted answers, even when he struggled against the overwhelming sensations coursing through his body, he knew that Hua Yong held the power over him in a way no one else ever had. That night, Sheng lay on the bed, trembling, his body aching with a mixture of exhaustion, desire, and the unrelenting pressure of pregnancy. Hua Yong stood over him, a silent presence radiating control, authority, and dominance. Sheng's mind screamed at him to resist, to demand explanations, to push back against the enigma that had always held him captive emotionally and physically. But his body betrayed him. Every nerve ending seemed alive, every breath coming in shallow, desperate bursts as he felt the magnetic pull of Hua Yong's scent, presence, and power. "You're mine tonight," Hua Yong said, his voice low, smooth, and commanding. Sheng's heart raced as the words penetrated every part of him, leaving no room for hesitation. No more waiting. No more resisting. "You are my Omega, Sheng. Be obedient." Sheng swallowed hard, his mind spinning. The word obedient should have frightened him. It should have caused him to pull away, to push Hua Yong from him, to reclaim control. But it didn't. Instead, it sent a shiver through him, one that ran down to the very core of his being. He realized, with a mixture of shame and longing, that he had wanted this for years. To be dominated, to be claimed, to be fully and irrevocably possessed by Hua Yong. Hua Yong moved closer, his hands gentle yet firm, guiding Sheng's trembling body into the position he desired. Every touch was precise, deliberate, and intoxicating. Sheng felt himself melting under the pressure, every resistance falling away as Hua Yong's commanding presence enveloped him. "Relax, Sheng. Trust me. Let go," Hua Yong murmured, his lips brushing against Sheng's ear. Sheng could barely form words, his body responding instinctively, surrendering to the control he had secretly craved. Pregnancy made everything more intense. Sheng's body was sensitive, every nerve alive with heightened sensation, every movement amplified. Hua Yong's hands, his touch, his weight pressing against Sheng, brought waves of pleasure that left him gasping, shivering, and unable to resist. Sheng had always been strong-willed, confident, and unyielding, but under Hua Yong's dominance, under the force of his enigma and power, he found himself powerless. And yet, for the first time in his life, he felt completely safe in that powerlessness. "You feel it, don't you?" Hua Yong whispered, his voice vibrating through Sheng's body. "The heat, the need, the bond. You're mine. Only mine. The child inside you, the life we share. It all belongs to me just as you do. Be obedient. Let me take care of everything." Sheng's breath hitched, his hands clenching at the sheets as waves of sensation washed over him. The pregnancy had made his body more sensitive than ever, and Hua Yong's dominance amplified every feeling, every ache, every desire. He had tried to resist, tried to fight the pull, but it was useless. Hua Yong was an enigma, a force beyond comprehension, and Sheng found himself drawn to him irresistibly. Hua Yong's hands roamed carefully, exploring the sensitive terrain of Sheng's body with precision, eliciting gasps, moans, and shivers. Every touch was calculated, designed to bring Sheng to the edge of pleasure, to break down every barrier he had built. Sheng's mind screamed in protest even as his body betrayed him completely, responding to every command, every whisper, every controlled motion of Hua Yong's hands and body. "You're going to let me dominate you, Sheng," Hua Yong murmured, pressing a kiss to the side of Sheng's neck. "You're going to obey me completely tonight. No hesitation, no fear. Just trust. Be my Omega and let me claim you fully." Sheng's body trembled violently, a mix of fear, longing, and desire coursing through him. He had never imagined feeling this completely overwhelmed, this completely consumed, but the truth was undeniable. He wanted Hua Yong, needed him, and craved the control and intimacy that only Hua Yong could provide. The enigma, the power, the dominance, all of it pulled Sheng into submission, and he could not and would not resist. As Hua Yong moved closer, Sheng could feel the warmth and pressure of his presence, the inevitability of being completely claimed. Every nerve ending screamed in anticipation, every inch of his body alive with sensation, every breath shallow and urgent. Hua Yong's hands guided him, pressing him into positions that maximized both pleasure and connection, amplifying the intensity of every feeling. "You belong to me, Sheng," Hua Yong whispered, his lips brushing against Sheng's ear. "The child inside you belongs to me. Your body, your heart, your mind. Be obedient. Accept it. Embrace it." Sheng's resistance crumbled completely. Tears streamed down his face, a mix of relief, desire, and surrender. He had spent years building walls, guarding himself, trying to maintain control. But Hua Yong's dominance shattered them all. For the first time in his life, Sheng allowed himself to be completely vulnerable, completely possessed, and completely alive in the embrace of the one man who could command him entirely. Pregnancy made every movement more intense, more desperate, more consuming. Sheng felt every touch, every press, every subtle motion with heightened sensitivity. The bond between them, the life growing inside him, and the undeniable claim of Hua Yong created a storm of sensation that left him trembling, gasping, and completely at Hua Yong's mercy. Hua Yong's dominance was precise, calculated, and overwhelming. Every motion, every touch, every whispered word was designed to bring Sheng to the peak of sensation, to remind him of his place as Hua Yong's Omega, and to reinforce the bond that no one else could touch. Sheng's mind, body, and heart were entirely consumed by the presence, power, and possession of Hua Yong. Hours passed, filled with whispered commands, gasps of pleasure, and the deep, unbreakable connection that tied them together. Sheng lost track of time, of reality, of everything but the overwhelming presence of Hua Yong claiming him fully. He was obedient, fully surrendered, and yet more alive than ever. The bond they shared transcended every rule, every label, and every expectation. When the night finally settled into a quiet, intense stillness, Sheng lay trembling, spent and completely aware of the life growing inside him, of the bond that held him to Hua Yong, and of the truth that he would never escape the dominance, the love, and the enigma of the man who had claimed him entirely. Hua Yong held him close, his hands gentle now, cradling Sheng with a mix of possessiveness and tenderness. "You did well, my Omega," he murmured, pressing a soft kiss to Sheng's temple. "You are mine, and the child inside you is ours. Nothing, no one, can change that. Obedience isn't weakness, Sheng. It's trust. And you trust me completely." Sheng breathed shakily, nodding, his body still trembling with the intensity of their connection. He knew now more than ever that Hua Yong was beyond definition, beyond rules, and beyond comprehension. And yet, he also knew that he would follow, submit, and obey him willingly, because to resist would be impossible and meaningless. He belonged to Hua Yong, fully, irrevocably, and the bond they shared, now strengthened by the life growing inside him, was unbreakable. As the night deepened, Sheng surrendered completely to Hua Yong, to the sensations, to the bond, and to the enigma that had always controlled his heart and body. He had finally understood that labels, lies, and even fear could not diminish what was theirs. Hua Yong was his. He was obedient, and the child growing within him was theirs. Nothing else mattered, and nothing else ever would. Sheng's body finally relaxed against Hua Yong, though a lingering tension of desire and surrender still hummed through him. Hua Yong's presence was absolute, commanding yet protective, and Sheng could feel the depth of the claim laid upon him, stronger than any fear or uncertainty. Every breath, every heartbeat, seemed to echo the unbreakable bond between them. Hua Yong's dominance and Sheng's willing obedience entwined so completely that neither could imagine existing without the other. Sheng's mind was quiet for the first time in what felt like forever, his heart steady beneath Hua Yong's careful, possessive touch. The child growing inside him, the intensity of the night, the silent understanding that he belonged entirely to Hua Yong, all of it merged into a calm certainty. Sheng realized that obedience wasn't just yielding. It was a choice, a trust, a surrender to something far greater than himself.